So this practice of cyclical hyperventilation is a kind of classical yogic practice. It's done in a sitting position, and I'm taking you through two variations. Okay, we're going to take my shirt off so you can see what I'm doing with my chest and my belly. Now we're going to add in some tongue positions. Now the normal tongue position we use is the nugget point behind the top teeth. But you can also use the tongue right at the top of the mouth, which we covered in volume 1, pressing it up there. Particularly and that really does help facilitate nasal inhale. And then a third tongue position, there are 6 altogether, but a third one is along up into the soft palate. And we'll be looking at that a little bit. A couple of eye positions that we've used. One of them is looking up into the skull to get that non-referentiality, where we're not referencing ourself against stuff and there's no thinking, it's a non-conceptual experience. And then a gaze down past the nose tip into the body, an embodiment gaze. And we've explored those as well. So those pieces we've already explored. Another thing we've explored is breath holding, and breath holding in the diaphragmatic liberation. So it can come in We've explored the diaphragmatic liberation and the breath hold release. And the breath hold release, of course, is if I'm holding my breath like this, release, relax, smile, consciously inhale. So all those pieces we've already covered. So for the first version, what we're going to do is I'm going to keep the bottom transverse abs here slightly tensioned. The urogenital triangle slightly drawn in. So I'm drawing in and up slightly through the urogenital triangle. The bottom transverse abs slightly under slight tension. And these transverse abs free to move. Because remember, we've got that control over the 3 levels of the transverse abs. So what I'm going to do there is breathe into the upper abdomen and then take the breath thoracic. And on the first version, the exhalation is simply a release. It's a full 360-degree opening around the thoracic cavity. All the rib space is opening. So all the training you've been doing, all the pieces, the systematic steps come into play. If you think about this, it's a bit like a seated version of the high-intensity hyperventilatory breath work, the conscious connected breathing. It's an inhalation, full inhalation, except with that pelvic abdominal activity, and a release. Back of the neck remains long, the upper trapezius remains soft, the jaw remains relaxed. If you need to, put the tongue at the top position to enable that nasal inhale. This is purely nasal. Everything in awareness. 30 breaths like this is nice to work towards, or even 54. But take your time. Do the number of breaths that works for you. It might be 4, it might be 9. Listen to your body. Remember, your body is the key informational driver here. That's giving you the information you need about to know when to stop, how to process, how to start, how to work with the practice well. So I'm going to take a few more breaths. Let's release. And at the end of it, because I'm hyperventilating, it's exhale, breath hold. Now in that breath hold, I'm adding in Jalandhara Bandha, and Jalandhara Bandha is lengthening up through the neck. It's a loose, long neck, axial extension, then a curl, then a tuck. So it's 3 elements: axial extension, curl, tuck. And that presses on the baroreceptors in the carotid sinuses here. And energetically, it's said to bring upward energy down into the center. At the same time as that, I'm working with the pelvic floor, drawing the pelvic floor in, and the Uddiyana Bandha, the diaphragmatic release. So those 3 bandhas are operational. When I'm doing that, I'm taking the tongue position along up into the soft palate as well, and taking my eyes upward. So it's a combined practice of those different elements that we've worked with already. Inhale. It's good to add in an inhale breath hold as well. And the inhale breath hold, if you remember, after the exhale breath hold is going to be a full inhale, pelvic floor work, the pelvic floor lock, if you like, the Mula Bandh, Jalandhar Bandh, the length, curl, tuck. Bring the attention and energy into the heart space and emanate that goodness through the whole system, and goodness, clarity, well-being. Okay, so those are the different pieces. I'm not going to hold for too long. I'm going to take you to the second version now. The second version, we're going to work with the arms up in the air like this. Now, it's important that your neck and jaw are relaxed. So if you start tensioning up here, it's not going to work. It's important that the upper trapezius here is relaxed. So if you're going to start tensioning up here, it's not going to work because you're creating that unnecessary tension here, right? Arms up in the air at about that kind of 60-degree or so, 45 to 60-degree angle. Get the feeling of sucking the shoulders down, so using the lats here and the pecs to pull the shoulders into the body. At the same time, open up through the finger spaces wide. They're going to stay wide. They're not going to collapse into closure or into flexion. So stay open and extension. At the same time, the arms are going to stay open, so they're not going to go into cactus arms, into flexion of the elbow here. We're going to stay extending through the elbows, the wrists and the palms with that retraction of the shoulder into the joint here with the lats and the pecs. Okay, so it's quite a strong practice. Now, if that feels too much for you, if it just feels too demanding in this position after 3 breaths or something like that, this is how you come out of it. Rather than collapsing it, bring your arms up, keep the upper trapezius relaxed, put the fingertips together, and then from there, bring the arms down the midline of the body, gently, gracefully down, and rest them on your knees. So it's a conscious coming out of that practice rather than an unconscious collapse. Okay? So I'm going to do a number of breaths here. Now with this practice again, we're doing that full abdominothoracic inhale. And the exhale, it starts if it's passive and then active. Once again, quality comes first. Quality comes above quantity. Quality comes above velocity. So it doesn't matter how many you do, it doesn't matter how fast you do it if it's lousy quality. It's got to be really good quality movements. That means all the movements are full and open in awareness. So 3 to 4 rounds of practice like that is reasonable. So that's a practice of 2 practices of Bhastrika, working with eye positions and tongue positions, working with the bandhas. And we did one where the inhalation is very powerful, very strong, and the exhalation is a release. So very much working with the inspiratory muscles. And the second one was working with the inspiratory muscles very powerfully because they're fully in awareness and you can use them. And then the release followed by the exhalatory muscles squeezing that breath out. So those are the 2 practices we did, and we worked with the second one with the arms up and again bringing them down through the midline. There are other aspects to this practice, of course. These practices go deeper, but that's a really good introduction to Bhastrika in terms of doing it with full awareness. So all the muscles movements and the muscle groups are in awareness, and carbon dioxide levels in awareness, tongue positions in awareness, eye positions in awareness. So it's very much an embodied meditative practice at quite a profound depth. I completed that practice with a little bit of alternate nostril breathing because that felt right for me to do. And again, you can add that in after a strong practice, work with alternate nostril breathing. I then did 3 breaths, just long, slow breaths, feeling through each of the centers as I was completing that breath. Okay, so a nice integrated practice there for you to have a look at and explore in your life and in your practice. Thank you.